Have you ever wanted to get into data science or machine learning? Me too. So when I came across this tutorial by Neural9 on YouTube, I had to get started instantly. So the first tutorial starts with an explanation of what machine learning actually is, and those diagrams show how it kind of works. And then he goes on to explain the differences between supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. And he uses diagrams again to explain those. Then finally we install some of the packages needed to start working on machine learning, and I had issues with TensorFlow, but I fixed those. So moving on to tutorial 2, which is about linear regression. So this is the y equal mx plus c stuff, and you see I pull out my A-level math stuff. Yeah, it had nothing to do with PMCC, but we start coding and I managed to get this graph to show up, and then I managed to get this value to be predicted, and I got some lines and stuff showing. I don't actually know what this was doing. Now on to tutorial number 3. I think it was k-neighbors classification, and the k-nearest neighbors classification, and I think it's all about like the closest neighbors. So like if you have a point, like whatever's close. I don't know how it works. We did the code again and used one of the pre-defined like dataset thingies in the packages, and then got something working. Support vector machines. This one was if we have like 2 classes or something like over here, then you could split them using a vector. But then if it's messed up like this, where you have data that's kind of overlapping, you use a kernel to push it like away, and then you can split it again. And then finally soft margins is just a little bit of like margin of error basically. And I did the code, so I followed the tutorial, and having a few issues with how the stuff was working, but eventually I got these values to show up, and yeah, that's it. The 5th tutorial was about decision trees and random forest algorithm or something like that, and he's just explaining how this is kind of like I forgot what it was like in real life, but you kind of imply stuff. He's saying if it's sunny, like if everyone said yes, then you're definitely gonna go right, otherwise you're not. And then random forest is just a bunch of decision trees, adding the code together. So you just have to add in the extra classifiers and just compare the values. So I got those values, and then this one somehow got the same values for 3 of them. K means cluster. I honestly don't remember what this was. I just remember him explaining how these triangle things are the centers of the points, and you just make them random values, and you slowly adjust the value so that they're at the centers, and then you can code it, but I don't think it really does anything. Now we move on to the big stuff, which is the neural networks, and obviously he's describing the layers over here. So input layer, output layer, hidden layers, and then he starts to describe how neurons work with all the weights and the biases and the functions, inputs and stuff. Now this gradient descent stuff I didn't really fully understand, but I think they kind of like convert the value from like one number to 0 to something, or I don't remember that. Now the final part of this tutorial was to make something that actually like made sense in real life. So this is the handwritten digit recognizing thingy, and then obviously I wrote the code for it. I drew out the numbers all in Paint. And then I checked if they were working, and we could see that they're inverted. So I invert the colors again so that it's the right colors, and then you can see they're all working. And then you take the model and make a prediction of what number it would be. So as you can see in this one, it says 1, 2, 3, but then it guessed this one wrong, and then it guessed this one wrong as well. And then I tried with all of the numbers, and it somehow got everything right in this one, so I guess that's good and it works. So as you can see, it said up to 9, I think. Yeah, it all works, right? Then I put it on my GitHub, and you can actually go and check that out if you want. Probably make sure to subscribe.